Welcome to the MG channel. Today, we're diving deep into the world of conspiracies that turned out to be true. Get ready to have your mind blown because some of this stuff is straight out of a movie. Before we start, please like and subscribe for more content. Let's start. Okay, let's start with a classic MK Ultra. We're talking CIA, mind control, the whole shebang. For years, people whispered about these secret government experiments trying to control people's minds. The CIA really was drugging people using electroshock therapy, even hypnosis, all to try and find ways to control human behavior. They were testing on their own people, on unsuspecting citizens, even on foreign leaders. The government tried to destroy most of the evidence, but some of it survived, proof that sometimes the truth really is scarier than fiction. And the craziest part is, we still don't know the full extent of MK Ultra. Mind control experiments date back even further, with Nazi scientists conducting similar research during World War II. After the war, many of these scientists were brought to the US under Project Paperclip. Today, the implications of mind control are even more concerning. With advancements in technology, some fear that modern surveillance and social media algorithms could be used to influence and control public opinion. From targeted ads to data mining, the potential for modern-day mind control is a topic of ongoing debate and concern. Next up, we've got Watergate. Now, most people know this one as a political scandal, a president resigning in disgrace. But it's so much more than that. We're talking about a break-in at the Democratic National Committee headquarters in the Watergate Hotel. This wasn't just some random break-in, it was orchestrated by the White House itself, by President Nixon's own people. They were trying to bug the offices, spy on their political opponents, and then they tried to cover it all up. The cover-up, that's what really got them. It showed just how far they were willing to go, how deep the corruption ran. And it proved that even the most powerful people in the world aren't above the law. Okay, this next one is seriously messed up. We're talking about Operation Mockingbird, the CIA's secret program to control the media. Imagine a time when the government was secretly planting stories in newspapers, on TV, even using journalists as unwitting pawns. They wanted to control the narrative, to shape public opinion, and they did it by manipulating the very sources we rely on for information. The CIA even admitted to this program, though they tried to downplay it, of course. They said it was all about fighting communism, but who knows how far it really went. How many stories were planted? How many minds were influenced? It's enough to make you question everything you read, everything you see on TV. This next one is truly horrifying, a stain on the history of medicine. It's a tale of deception, cruelty, and a gross violation of human rights. I'm talking about the Tuskegee syphilis study, a dark chapter that spanned 4 decades. For 40 years, the US government conducted a study on African American men with syphilis without their informed consent. These men were misled, told they were receiving free healthcare. But in reality, they were being denied the very treatment that could save their lives, even after penicillin was discovered as a cure in the 1940s. The deception was deliberate and calculated. They were lied to, manipulated, and treated like lab rats. The doctors and officials involved showed a complete disregard for their humanity. Imagine the pain, the suffering, the betrayal these men endured. They trusted the medical professionals, only to be used as mere subjects in a cruel experiment. All for what? So the government could study the natural progression of a deadly disease. The goal was to observe the effects of untreated syphilis, regardless of the human cost. It's beyond unethical, it's inhumane. The study represents one of the most egregious breaches of medical ethics in history. Okay, get ready to be angry. We're talking about COINTELPRO, the FBI's covert program to surveil, infiltrate, and disrupt domestic political organizations. We're talking about civil rights groups, anti-war activists, even environmental organizations. If the FBI considered you a threat, they were watching you, listening to your phone calls, reading your mail. But it gets worse. They weren't just watching, they were actively trying to destroy these groups from the inside. They spread false rumors, instigated violence, and even framed people for crimes they didn't commit. COINTELPRO was a blatant attack on the First Amendment, on our right to free speech and assembly. It showed just how far the government was willing to go to silence dissent. Alright, you know this one had to be on the list. Big Tobacco. For decades they lied to our faces, telling us smoking was glamorous, sophisticated, even healthy. But behind the smooth advertising campaigns and celebrity endorsements was a dark truth. They knew all along that cigarettes were addictive, that they caused cancer and a whole host of other health problems. They buried the evidence, manipulated data, and discredited scientists who dared to speak out, all to protect their profits, their bottom line. They were literally getting rich off of making people sick and dying. It's a classic tale of corporate greed and deception, and it took years, decades even, for the truth to finally come out. This one's like a political thriller come to life, the Iran-Contra affair. A real-life drama that unfolded in the corridors of power, shrouded in secrecy and deception. We're talking secret arms deals, hostages, funding rebel groups, all happening behind the backs of Congress and the American people. It was a clandestine operation that defied the very principles of democracy and transparency. The Reagan administration was selling weapons to Iran, our supposed enemy, in exchange for the release of American hostages. This was a direct contradiction to the public stance of the US government, which had labeled Iran as a state sponsor of terrorism. But here's the kicker. They were using the profits from those arms sales to fund the Contras, a rebel group in Nicaragua. This was done despite a congressional ban on further aid to the Contras, making the operation not just secretive but illegal. Okay, this one hits close to home, the NSA surveillance scandal. Remember Edward Snowden? He blew the whistle on the massive surveillance program being conducted by the National Security Agency. We're talking about the government collecting our phone records, our emails, our internet browsing history, all without our knowledge or consent. They say it's all about national security, but at what cost? It's a violation of our privacy, our right to be left alone. The Snowden revelation showed that the government has vast capabilities to spy on its own citizens, and that they're not afraid to use them. It's a chilling thought, and it raises serious questions about the balance between security and freedom. Let's journey back to a scandal that rocked an entire nation, the Dreyfus Affair. Picture this. France, 1894. Captain Alfred Dreyfus, a promising officer in the French army, is suddenly accused of treason. The charge? Allegedly passing military secrets to Germany. But here's the twist. Dreyfus was innocent, so why was he targeted? The answer lies in deep-seated prejudices and a corrupt system. Dreyfus was Jewish in a time when anti-Semitism was rampant. His conviction was based on flimsy evidence, fueled by bias and a rush to judgment. The military and government were eager to find a scapegoat, and Dreyfus fit the bill. But the story doesn't end there. As more evidence surfaced, it became clear that Dreyfus was wrongfully convicted. Yet, instead of admitting their mistake, the military and government doubled down, covering up their errors and perpetuating the injustice. It took years of relentless advocacy, most notably by writer Émile Zola, who famously penned J'accuse, to bring the truth to light. The public outcry grew, and eventually Dreyfus was exonerated. Okay, time to talk about the Manhattan Project. We've all heard about it, the secret project during World War II. But the reality is, its origins and impact went far beyond what most people know. We're talking about a massive collaboration of scientists, military personnel, and government agencies. They were working in secrecy, using cutting-edge science and technology to develop the atomic bomb. The impact was profound, leading to the end of World War II and ushering in the nuclear age. Their work changed the course of history, their legacy undeniable. For years, the details were shrouded in secrecy, but it wasn't until documents were declassified and stories were told that the full extent of their work was revealed. So there you have it, guys. 10 conspiracies that turned out to be true. It's enough to make you paranoid, right? Or maybe it just opens your eyes to the fact that the world isn't always what it seems. Sometimes, the truth really is stranger than fiction. And sometimes, the people we think we can trust are the ones we need to be watching the most. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more intriguing content.